This is my contest entry for AndrewBallina's 3,500 sub contest, which I'm sure he's gone past that by now. And he wanted us to list 5 of our favorite zombie flicks. Now, while majority of my top 5, usually changes time to time, the final 2 always stays the same because those 2 are my absolute favorites. But if you're not familiar with Andrew's channel, he is an awesome YouTuber who does, a lot of like horror movie reviews, updates. He even has like horror masks, uh, toys, a lot of cool content on his channel. So definitely check him out. I'll leave a link in the description below. And heck, if you're interested in the contest, definitely sub to him and make a video and link it to the comments on his channel. So, without further ado, first one up, number 5, is Night of the Creeps. I absolutely love this movie. It's from Fred Dekker. I love Fred Dekker movies, especially this and The Monster Squad. And basically, what this movie is about is like we're like an alien, like an alien experiment gone wrong. So the aliens you know, sent it to Earth, and it gets released onto Earth, and like these little leeches things come out of this container and infects like this college student, and the student gets frozen in like a hyperbolic chamber or some shit. And like several years later, it is thawed out and starts doing its thing again and turns people into zombies once it enters into people's mouth. I don't want to give too much away in case nobody's seen it, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen this by now. But that is number 5. I definitely like this flick. It's really good. You gotta check it out. And this one, I put this on here because a lot of people have done the first one, so I thought I'd change it up a little bit. And that is Return of the Living Dead 3. I really like this flick. It's probably one of my favorite sequels to this franchise. Mindy Clark, she was super hot back in the day. And basically, what happens in this is like this guy and his girlfriend, which is played by Mindy Clark, they see his father working on this experiment, and it brings the dead back to life. And as they're leaving the compound, they're in a motorcycle accident, and she gets her neck broken. So what does he do? He brings her back and brings her back to life. And then all hell breaks loose after that. And one of the things that I really like about this movie is it's basically a zombie flick mixed with Romeo and Juliet type of story and sort of a Frankenstein type of story as well. Because of all that shit she does to herself, and the reason why she does it to herself is, it helps to keep the hunger at bay, if you will. It's a really cool flick, and I'm glad that Lionsgate finally put out the unrated version, because for the longest time, the only way you could watch the unrated version is on VHS, and then the DVD was only rated R, so now I think you get both on here. And then number 3, which is one of my all-time favorites, and I can watch this over and over again and never get tired of it, and that is Cemetery Man, starring Rupert Everett. And basically Rupert's character, and also this guy named Nagi, which in real life, from what I hear, he's like an opera singer or some shit, which blows me away because he does an excellent job in the movie of being like a mute. He don't really talk. I mean, he'll say like simple things, but he's not like a real big talker, and he gets them to do all the heavy lifting, if you will. But it's basically like where after people are buried, like 7 days later, they return to life, and it's his job to kill them. And there's a really hot chick in here. Her name is Anna Fauci. Man, she is really hot, and her character is like uh, reincarnated. Must be like reincarnated, like 2 or 3 times in the movie, because he keeps meeting the girl like several times. Because he had killed her because he thought that she was infected, because he thought the bite brings people to life. But I don't think the bite actually brings people to life. Um, so he has so like after 7 days, he's got to kill him, put him back. But what I like about it is it's almost done in sort of like a nightmarish way. You know how sometimes things don't really make any sense, because in the movie some things don't really make sense, but it's still interesting and it's really good. So if you haven't seen Cemetery Man, I highly recommend it. So number 2, of course, would have to be Day of the Dead. I love this movie. I love the Bub character. And in this, the gore and everything else has been amped up. I love, like I said, I love Bub's character, especially when, he gets back at that guy for, killing the professor guy. And what I like about it is, in this installment, things are more bleak. It seems like there's no hope. It's basically when everybody has died and, has come back to life. Because there's like a scene in the beginning where, like the whole town, is covered by nothing but the dead, and there's, nobody living. And a lot of the kill scenes in this movie is really fantastic, especially that one scene where that guy is committing suicide, and, he's on that, I forgot what the hell you call it, but it's, like where helicopters can land, and it lowers down, and the guy's lying down with his dog tags in his mouth, and he lets all the zombies attack him. Man, that was a brutal scene. But this is number 2, and number 1 would have to be the original Dawn of the Dead. This is basically one of the movies that really got me excited for zombie movies and horror movies in general. I really like, George Romero's like social commentary. This is more about consumerism, where people have got to shop, and, George Romero, while he's not the creator of zombies or the zombie genre, he really helped to redefine it and make it more for the modern era, because a lot of people have, basically made movies, basically off of his, template, if you will. So that was my top 5 zombie flicks. So just to go over them: Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Cemetery Man, Return to Living Dead 3, and Night of the Creeps. So that was my contest entry. So good luck everyone on the contest, and y'all have a great one.